What's up, everyone? Today we're going to go ahead and cover the Florida-Georgia game in Jacksonville that's going to happen this Saturday. And I'm going to go ahead and give you my preview and some information and then give you my thoughts. And from there, I'm going to go ahead and play an interview from former Gator head coach Urban Meyer and his thoughts about Florida and the Florida-Georgia game. And then after that, we'll go ahead and I'll just tell you guys to go ahead and leave in comments and thoughts down below in the comments and give you my final thoughts. I'm not going to give you a prediction. I'm just going to tell you what I believe is going to happen and or should happen in order for the Gators to win. Again, guys, thank you for supporting the channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and pass this around so the RWC family can grow. Some key information to let you guys know. The first player that's going to be out of Saturday's game is Jakeem Jackson. He's out for the season with an ACL injury. Then Jason Marshall is out with an injury too, a major injury. He's out for the season. Eugene Wilson III will not play this game. He's completely out due to his hammy. And as we all know, Mertz is out too because of the ACL. Outside Turner is out on the report. Jackson is out. Devin Manuel is out. Reddick Keamy is out. Damari Lyons is out. Montrell Johnson Jr. is questionable. R.J. Morton questionable. And Damon George, the offensive lineman, is questionable. Another information, guys. I'm going to go ahead and tell you how we rank with these Georgia Bulldogs. In terms of defense, we're number 74. Georgia's number 20. Offense, we're 49. Georgia's 41. Rushing offense, we're 77. Georgia's 95. But I think it's because Georgia barely has ran the ball. They're more pass-dominated offense this year. Passing offense, we're number 34. They're number 13. Rush defense, we're 94. They're 22nd. Pass defense, we're number 47. And they're 38th. Guys, in order for us to win, we need to slow down the tempo and run the ball with either Montrell Jordan or Jordan Baugh. And DJ Lagway needs to make big-time decisions and make key plays, throw the deep ball, throw the ball across the field. And this offensive line needs to give him time to throw the ball. As we saw last week against Kentucky, we won 48-20. He can make this offense dynamic along with Jordan Baugh and our running backs. It's going to be interesting to see how Trevor Etienne does against his former Gator teammates. Again, guys, I'm going to go ahead and play the thoughts of Coach Urban Meyer and then give you my final thoughts of how I think it's going to go down. Not give you an official prediction, but I think it's going to go down, and from there, tell you what's going on, and hopefully the Gators can pull out an upset, which not too many people expect. Let me go ahead and play this from Coach Urban Meyer talking to Ali Peak, and we'll go from there.
iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence. Wow, phones are going to be flying tomorrow.
I feel like everyone is giving you no shot.
Yeah, I'd much rather be the favorite because that means I have a great team. Underdogs are an underdog for a reason. I will say this, Coach Napier and his staff, I think have done an amazing job. I thought there's the school in Tallahassee, I'm not saying the players quit, but they're just not playing well. And Florida, I was worried. I made a comment about they lost momentum, and they got some momentum right now. Now, reality is they're looking down the barrel of some really tough games coming up. On the other side, they're the best team in the country. What they did to Texas, I got them ranked number 1. I got Oregon ranked number 2. That was the best half and game I've seen in a long time. To go into Texas, play that offensively and defensively, and actually turned the ball over a few times on offense, but that defensive performance against Texas, that was scary good. And as you get to November, teams that have great defenses usually win it.
Yeah.
And right now, I've got them number 1.
Florida has DJ Lagway now at the helm after Graham Mertz went down. Thoughts on how he has done so far this season?
I love watching him. I actually am a fan of his, and I go back and we don't cover the Florida Gators. We don't cover much of the SEC. I get to talk about the game this week, so I've actually watched him, and he's everything you want. He can run it, he can throw it. They say I don't know him, they say he's a great kid. He's everything you want at quarterback, so he's got a bright future.
Defensively, Florida has even looked better since the bye week. They seem to be flying around. I think that was, at least in this house, the biggest critique on defense before was that it didn't look like they were just going full throttle every single play. And I feel like that has changed some. What are they going to need to do to be successful against Georgia's offense?
They have to come up. The one thing about Carson Beck, he will give it to you once in a while. He had a couple picks, I think 2 or 3 picks the last game. It's going to be a tough road. I think, once again, I've got a lot of respect for this Georgia team. I look across the board. I don't see a weakness on offense, defense. Everybody points they lost the game to Alabama, but the second half was one of the most incredible performances I've seen, too, by Georgia. I think Florida, to hang in this game, they got to slow the game down. It's almost unbelievable you say that about a Florida Gator team, but they better shorten this game, and that means snap the ball with 2 seconds, 1 second left. They cannot turn the ball over, and they got to tackle. That's the only way this thing's close. If it's close, who knows what happens in the fourth quarter. If they don't do those things I just said, it's going to be a really long day.
We talked about Lagway, and you said you liked him. If you watch film on him, and he does all the right things, but this is still a really scary game for a true freshman. Do you think that a true freshman can score enough to keep them in it?
If it gets into be a shootout, I'm very concerned about that. To answer your question, no. I don't think they can. If Georgia gets hot, I don't see Florida being a 45 to 38 game at all. I see this. If Florida has a chance, they create some turnovers, they shorten the game, and it's 27-24 type thing. I think he's got a great future. I think as they continue to build the roster around him, that he's going to have a hell of a career for them.
Before I get you out of here, Trey Etienne was U.S. RB1 last year. He transferred to Florida, and this is becoming more and more common in college football. But imagine if that had happened when you were coaching. How would you approach this as the Gator coach, and you're looking across the sidelines and you see your last year's running back in red and black?
Yeah, I've been removed from the Gators for a while, and I remember reading that and seeing that, and it hurt me. I just go somewhere, but don't go there. It'd be like a guy from Ohio State ended up in Ann Arbor. There's a lot of places to go, but don't go there. Especially if you want him. It'd be different if he was kicked off or if he was a player that just wasn't playing much, but he was their horse, and he ends up the street there in Athens, Georgia. So I know he's a hell of a player, and that shocked me when I saw that.
Yeah, it's just, I guess it's a symptom of where we are in college football with NIL and the transfer portal and stuff. But there's part of me that thinks, man, are these kids not understanding the intensities of these rivalries? Or like, how is it hurting us as fans more than it's hurting them as players? Do you think that NIL has made rivalries matter less?
No, I think it's all, to make a general statement like that, I don't like to do that, because certainly it did for some. It did ETN, but there's other people that live and die by these rivalries. So I do believe NIL has changed a lot of things. It certainly has changed that. There was a day back, we talked about a guy that dislikes Georgia, the old ball coach, Spurrier. Asked him the same question. Can you imagine one of your players walking into your office and going like this, I'm going to Georgia Bulldogs, and be like, what just happened here? So I think we all just become numb a little bit that this is what it is. College football was great. Right now, these teams on the field are great. I think there's great parity. So there's so many cool things going on right now. You got a 12-team playoff. There's 20. I counted 20 to 22 teams that still think they can make the playoffs. Back in the BCS era, you lost a game, you're out. You lived it, Allie and Eric. You guys lived it. There's so much good, but there is reality that it is different. Does the bowl game mean as much as it did years ago? No, not even close. It's about the playoff. So us as fans, and you're certainly not an old timer, I am, we just got to say this is what it is and accept it, move on, and love the greatness of the game.
That's the thoughts of the legendary Florida coach, Urban Meyer, which has been retired for several years now and works for Fox. Guys, I agree with Urban. The Gators got to keep this game close in order to win it. If we're out by the halftime or by the first quarter, I don't expect us to win it. But if we can keep it close, if the defense can play like they've been playing the last 3 or 4 weeks, I can see an upset happening, and this can potentially save Billy Napier's job. Leave your thoughts down in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and have a great afternoon. Peace.